I have confidence that it's going to be okay. Well, let's find out. Oh crap. We'll survive. Okay, so these are challenges, man. I am doing this all the wrong way. As I understand it, if you go backcountry ski trekking for the first time, you should obey two important rules. One, always go with a group. Two, do a hut tour and don't start with snow camping. So I have broken both these rules. And now I have decided to be very conservative in all other respects. So you will be surprised to hear that I am going to camp using my tarp. Finally underway, and the first part of the route is just the cycle path next to the road actually. Great weather. I'm having a good time. I'm following red markings on the tree. You can hear the liquid water everywhere, but where is it? I so don't want to end up right in the middle of it. It's there, it's there. There is some room for improvement there. I now have one very wet sock and one very cold hand. But just to demonstrate that I am by no means an experienced winter camper, this is the very first time that I've done this. I just stamped out a square that seems Papa Hiker shaped, and I'm going to put my tarp over top of it. And let's see how we roll. That's a scooter prepared track, and that's a machine prepared track, which is classic on both sides and skating technique in the middle. So this one scores better on the roughness factor. And this is the third type of track, a route that is marked but not prepared. So this has the highest wilderness feeling about it. But my route is about 70% maintained trails, and the rest are marked routes. course I've tried to learn from my experience from yesterday. So what I did is I stamped out a platform for my tent, but I made it much larger than yesterday. And also I did this before I took any of the stuff out of the bag, so that all that snow that just sticks to everything is already stamped down a little and doesn't get in the way too much. Also, I'm going to set up the tent using my leather choppers rather than doing it with my undergloves. These are my stakes. They're very standard. And I thought it would be practical to place them in the snow like this, like dead men, but they tend to go up and down. So now I plant them in the snow like this at a 45-degree angle, and that really worked yesterday. And also they were not so hard to get out of the snow later on. So far so good, happy with the stakes. So I'll bury this and stamp it down. I use a gas stove that I can't use inside of my shelter. But I did feel the need to be in my shelter while operating the gas stove. So I picked this simple Holden tent variant that has a large opening so I can sit in it and still use the gas stove. So I expect it to be colder. I'm going to close the gap around the whole parameter for the rest of the shelter. And it's a pretty roomy thing. Why? Because I use this lifter point technique. Of course, you have to use your skis. It's tradition, really. But for me, it's the first time. Tough day, but it's pretty. I am now off track but en route. So I need to break my own trail, which is hard work, but it's just 1 kilometer or 2, so I'll make it before it gets dark. And as you can see, I'm following a dog or possibly a hare's trail. Now, of course, you can't see how steep it is, but man, this can't just be right. That spot between the trees looks like a great campsite. So that's a freshly compacted campsite. I just stamped this down like for minutes. It builds the exact same shelter as last time. It has an open front, but I wasn't cold, and I like the fact that you can sit up, look out, and that I can cook in front of the shelter. It's a stable shelter, like it a lot. So if it works, why change it? Did it again. And look where I am. I'm right next to Store Sandungen, which is a large lake here in the Oslo Marka. But the snow here is so incredibly deep that if I step 1 meter outside of my shelter, I'm going to be waist deep in the snow. But that's a challenge that is equal to tent camping or tarp camping. It doesn't matter. Deep snow is problematic either way. And I have no experience with deep snow, so this is a learning experience for me, man. Been looking at the lake all morning, finally get the ski on it. My bike campsite, what a great day. Woo! Snowshoeing is very unusual here. These are the first snowshoe tracks that I see. Most people ski. I'm being super active here. I'm waiting for the ski wax to cool down. It's a beautiful valley, but I can't ski through it. So I'll have to walk till I get to the other side, right there. That's where the ski routes continue. So, one of those rough moments in a camping trip. It's getting late, the light is going away, and I don't have a camping spot yet. Also, this is steep terrain. So I went off the Loipe and I'm spotting this flat space over there. Maybe you can see it. So let's try it. I put on the skins just in case. I need to make this work pronto. So that's the space. It's going to be a small and simple shelter. That's the way it's going to be. Yellow. So glad I pulled it off. And it's steep here too. So I tried to put in one of the stakes and I stomped down with my foot and I went in through all the way to my waist. So I suppose if you see this place in summer, it's just very steep. You can't imagine anyone ever camping here. So there you have it. This is a small variant of the cave. I have a separate video on it. You may want to check it out. And I'm super happy. It got up quickly. I had a very good night of sleep. My snow camping skills have definitely improved. And much of the trick is that you shape the snow below your ground sheet well, so that you have a good place to sleep, won't roll around in the night, won't start slipping and sliding. Yesterday, for half of the night, I actually had my Neo Air Extreme upside down, which is a bad idea, because so having it upside down makes it slide around everywhere. Well, but this night, good. And I did this one using the small tarp that is normally my ground sheet, because I thought that on this very steep terrain in this super deep snow, man, I went in waist deep yesterday. I thought it'd be a good idea to have a really solid ground sheet. So I have the large tarp as a ground sheet, so I could create this great bathtub floor. Worked out just fine. And the small tarp does deliver some tight pitches such as this one. Yesterday there was still a lot of snow up in the trees, but last night the wind picked up and it started blowing quite hard. A lot of the snow came down, some of it on my tent too. Okay, so I took my jacket off just 1 minute ago because it was so hot. And now all of a sudden I'm in a snowstorm. The wind starts blowing and I'm just waxing my skis for hot weather. Duh. My campsite for tonight is epic, but alas also windy. And today a storm came out of nowhere. That could happen tonight. So, of course I promised Mama Hiker that I'd stay safe, so I took some precautions. First thing I did is I built the absolute strongest pitch there is possible with the tarp in the world. And I knew some of you guys would be disappointed if I didn't do the Hokksund. So there you go. This is the Hokksund. Second thing I did was, on all the four corners where there's an extra flap left over, I've put snow on top of the flap to fortify the shelter. What I will do later on is take my skis and put 2 extra guy lines on it. And I've closed the perimeter with a little wall of snow. So all these things hopefully will make for a safe and happy night. I almost decided to cross that lake last night. I'm happy I didn't do it. That ice does not look trustable. I'm going off trail. Tracks have completely abandoned me. Can't find my way. So I'm trusting the compass and the map. That's where I have to go. The snow is really deep. It's kind of steep. There's rocks underneath. There's little streams. I'm taking this really slowly.